those assumptions as well, because in my business versus having someone who doesn't know anything about my business listen to it and said, how did you get from here to here?
I think it's a really good point, because like nobody knows your business better than you do, and to get somebody that is like completely unfamiliar, it's like explain it to you like I'm like a 5-year-old and kind of read through it. Like I think it's a really good way to understand like here's some places where you're making a logic gap because like you're super close to it and you know it makes sense to you, but somebody that's like brand new to this business and doesn't understand it is not gonna follow, and then you have a chance to iterate on that before you go out and submit a final proposal.
Yeah, and unfortunately most audiences won't ask the question.
Yeah.
Right? If they don't understand, like, use an acronym that they don't know. Unfortunately, most people won't say, what is LC now?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, they'll just kind of brush past it, but kind of must have it work.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we've got about 5 minutes left here. Any questions from the audience or things that we can, other follow-ups or things that we can answer?
I have a question for Rebecca.
Yeah.
How hard was it to approach friends and or family for a loan?
Yeah, it was hard.
Yeah.
And I went from a big spectrum and I narrowed it down. So my initial plan was like, let me ask everybody who might be interested in this, because if everybody gives me a little bit, then I won't feel like it's too much responsibility to one person. And that could be like the crowdfunding, that could be a good thing for you and your business. It was not easy, but I got lucky to where I did have a family member who was willing. She believed in what we were doing, and she gave me really great terms and all that stuff that makes it more appealing than going to get a loan. And the fact that I could stand on this is a business transaction with someone who happens to be in my family and business first, I felt more comfortable in going out because she recognizes it's still a risk and that was okay with her. So don't go pressing friends and family to do it. I was very willing for people to say no and not have my feelings hurt, like my sister, my dad, or whatever. And I didn't end up asking them, but I was very willing to not have my feelings hurt if someone didn't believe in it like I believed in it. So, yeah, it was not easy, but for me, ultimately, it made more sense financially with the interest and the payback than going in up front.
And you didn't want to go for a 50 with that person?
Yeah, that's funny, because initially I thought that's what she wanted, and so I was more than willing to do that. And then it came down to the fact that that's not what she wanted. All she wanted to do was loan me money, because I was more than willing if I was going to keep it in my family, and you know I could work with my nieces and then like all kinds of stuff. I had all kinds of ideas that the equity would still stay within. So I was more than willing to do that, but she didn't want to. And so again, that was the thing. Like you won't always get the way you want it to go, but yeah.
I guess she protected you.
She probably did.
Yeah.
And she's been in business for a while, like she's ran a business for a long time, so I trust her. But
Well, I think that's interesting because at some point my husband said we just can't invest any of our own personal money into this, but how about I lend you money with no interest and you pay me $500 a month back. We actually wrote up a contract, right? And he gave me the $10,000 I needed, but we did it like a business arrangement.
yeah, and I think that
Instead of just saying, I'm gonna put $10,000 more
yeah, because
into the business when I already kept saying, that's it, that's the last. No, I need $10,000 more. Instead, we drew it up like a business, like a loan, right? We didn't charge, but so that in his mind, it was different, right?
it's less emotional. It's
Yeah.
more business.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, and just set it up to automatically withdraw out of the account and
That's
pay it
right.
back. But I think too, the idea that somebody didn't want equity, they just wanted to help you succeed, right? And there are people out there, and you're very fortunate, and I was very fortunate to have a spouse that would participate in that, but not everybody does.
And one more thing on that is with you, Annie, talk to people. Let them know what you need. You don't have to ask to let them know what you're looking for. And I think so my aunt is my friends and family. I think if I would have let her know earlier, she would have been willing earlier, but I just never told her. And so, talk to people, talk to your friends, talk to your family, let them know what you need, see if they have interest. They've watched you grow this for however long, so they're invested in some, you know, in some amount, like emotionally, and they want to see you succeed, and if they might just not know that you need anything. So let them know, even without maybe asking them right off the cusp, but let them know what you're looking for and what you're trying to do. Yeah.
That becomes part of the storytelling, don't you feel like? Because you want to tell a wonderful story, an exciting story. You want people to be excited for you, but there's also the challenges. And how do you present the challenges in a way that people would be willing to take a risk? Because everybody wants to hear the upside, right? You go on Shark Tank,
Yeah.
right? And
But
the Shark hasn't heard that.
But I think,
You go on
yeah,
Shark Tank.
but especially with like friends and family stuff, I think being like very transparent about the risks behind it is critically important, because you don't want to paint it as like it's all upside, it's guaranteed and stuff, and that ends badly. So.
And I think there's also the very delicate stage that we are in. I mean, I say we because it sounds like everybody's in the same boat, but this is more of a, not necessarily a friend or family, but it's like an angel friend, but with a very sharp mind. And it's very tricky because, you know, you could project, oh, my business has a 8 million valuation, which of course it doesn't, but when you want to be very realistic, but not put yourself super low, this angel investor asked me, so your EBITDA is $250,000. That's what your company is worth at the moment. So how much of your company would you give me with $250,000? That was very insulting to me because at this stage you're more about building the scalability, the foundation, the brand, the product fit, the market fit. So all of those things are not reflected on your sales. Yet you have not been able to grow your sales because you're building all of that foundation. So it's super delicate to put yourself in a situation like that. Like, I'm not gonna give you more than 10%. If you wanna come in, be welcome, you know?
I think that's a great point too. Don't sell yourself short
Yeah,
to
because I'm
anybody.
And that's also the sign of not a good partner. It's like if somebody, like, you wouldn't find somebody that like believes in your business versus doing like a land grab and trying to get, and that's a land grab to go and do something like that. It's like, it's quickly like, they're trying to, it's more like somebody that goes that route is more trying to get control of something that they might believe in the business, but they're not saying it. So I think just being like finding folks that are good equity partners that believe in the story and are willing to invest in a valuation that shows that is really important.
Great. Thank you guys so much. We've got about 15 minutes. We're going to kind of reset the room a little bit, just move tables around to kind of create your mentoring pockets. There's coffee, bagels, fruit, gobos, so like grab a snack, go to the bathroom, whatever you need to do. Be back here around 10:30, and then Allie's got your mentoring stuff, so we'll let you know where to go. Yeah, boom.